Imagine never being able to sit down for 5 years. It sounds impossible, right? But for 20-year-old Enoch'S, who is a Ghanaian, that is his reality. Enoch is a student of University of Cape Coast. Suffers from fibroid dysplasia ossificans progressiva, also known as FOP or FOP. This condition has left him in a standing position for the past 5 years. This guy never sat on his butt. And if I said he never sat on his butt, even if he had to board the car, he had a position that he kind of lie in the car, and when he goes to school, he stands straight till he gets tired, and then he walks around a little bit. When his school ends, he goes back to his house or wherever he lives, and he lies on the bed. So it's from standing to lying on the bed. Now let's find out why and how. Enoch's journey began with this diagnosis at the age of 2. His family relied on a herbal treatment instead of taking him to the hospital because they didn't have the knowledge of any other medication, but they had a belief that when they go for a herbal treatment, he's going to be well. But unfortunately, the herbal medication rather worsens his condition. As a former visual art student of Infantine Pim Senior High School, Enoch had to take a very tough decision for standing for life to pursue his academic dreams. He was being interviewed and he said he had to take this decision. He rather chose to stand. Despite this determination, his daily life was a struggle because even if he's walking around, the way his stature has been formed, people looks around him, and I believe they kind of think, they think so deep, or they wonder how come his formation has been like that. But you see that he rather chose the good path, rather to stand still. And then when he was being interviewed, explained that if he chose to sit for his bone marrows to form that formation, it is rather going to be difficult. Even looking at him walking around this way, the way people look at him, it's very uncalled for, not to talk of him being in a wheelchair throughout his life. This guy basically stands for lectures and all his daily activities. He never sat down for once. So when he was being interviewed, he was questioned that if you're standing and you feel tired, how are you going to sit, or how are you going to relax? And he answered that if he's tired by standing, he rather goes out and move a little bit and come back to his standing position. It kind of felt like it's something that he had done and he's used to. So he rather goes and move a little bit and come back to his standing position. He never sits because the way his bones are formed, he cannot sit. He rather had to remain standing or go and lie down. So it's two options for him. He cannot sit. And he only rests at night, lying in the same position till daybreak. His story turns west during 2020, the COVID-19 era, when they all went on break. That period he was in JHS. So they all went on break, and the school called the students that they have resumed school, so they should all return back to school. And when he was turning back to school, he sat in a car, and unfortunately the car hit potholes and it affected his back, which highlighted the gravity of the condition. His father tries to massage the pain at his back, but this rather worsened the case from being their way to the worst. This guy have to understand and come to realization that despite the stare and however people are going to think, he have to keep his education alive. And that is how come he found himself in the University of Cape Coast. Unfortunately for Enoch, his father passed away when he was growing up. So financial difficulties has become the toughest challenge for him and his mother, because when you don't have a father, automatically your mother taking place, and it's only the mother taking care of him and his condition. This really added up to his daily struggles. Enoch really finds it very hard to eat because his mouth and jaws have stiffened. So if he wants to put food in his mouth, because of the stiffness of his jaws, he had to take his time to eat his food little by little. And that was the symptoms for the disease that was diagnosed in his system, which is FOP. It brings the symptoms of stiffness of your bones and your jaw lines and makes it unable to move properly. So this FOP, it's kind of turns your system and creates a second skeleton in your system and stiffens to make your movement very straight, and it can't make you burn your system. Some symptoms are loss of mobility, muscle swelling, and other things. The saddest part of this sickness is that it has no cure. When you find yourself in this condition, you rather choose to keep standing still or to keep sitting for the bone deformation to form that way. And this condition, Enoch had been the one that was published for most of us to know that there is this kind of condition in the system. Enoch is not just standing still for himself, but he's standing still for the whole society to learn from his condition. Keep standing tall, Enoch. And I believe, or we believe, that there is soon going to be a cure for your condition.